I'm Madame Gandhi. I am a musician and activist and a producer, a drummer. I love making music about elevating and celebrating the female voice. I love making music about the kind of rich complexity of emotions. I like making music that makes people feel good and feel uplifted. I like taking my drums and my voice and making kind of, energetic, feel-good songs that speak the truth. And I'm here at the M.I.A residency in Woodstock, New York. I have never made a synth from a field recording of a cracking stick before. And now I have this skill set. Initially going in, I thought the sounds were going to sound closer to their original form. So if we're breaking a stick, I'm already thinking that's going to be our snare or our hi-hat. Or if I stomp on the ground, I'm already thinking that's going to be our bass. If I splash with water, I'm thinking maybe that's a synth. But to know that any of those sounds can be made into any other kind of tone, that something that we thought was synthy actually can be made percussive, or something that was intended to be percussive could actually be transformed into a pad, was definitely something that blew me away. There's so much to say about taking nature sounds and manipulating them into different forms of audio. I think the first thing that I felt about that process was how pure the sonic textures are. You're literally taking things that we often overlook in nature and that we often don't have connection to because we're living in kind of fast metropolitan areas. And so the feeling of knowing that the music that we're making is from these really pure sonic experiences is very validating. And then I think just the magic of watching how a high-quality sonic texture of any kind, whether it's pebbles in the pond or if it's breaking a stick, can be made into a pad, into a synth, into a percussive loop, simply based on how we're shaping the envelope and how we're sculpting the sound. So for those two reasons, it was a super magical and transformative experience. There was lots of inspiration during the M.I.A residency that I experienced. I think the first one is really to shut out the noise and the distraction that so many of us face on a day-to-day basis that inhibits the creative process. I think that was one major aspect that I valued from this residency. The second is the teamwork effort of it. Like, it's really fun to get together with a group of collaborators whom you respect and make stuff together and kind of have some goals that you want to achieve and know that everyone's in it to knock it out together. And then I think the other aspect that really struck me is just being super aware of the ways that you're making tones. So often we are pulling things from sample banks that exist online, but I've always kind of intuitively felt like, man, but whose voice is that? And whose guitar is that? And whose loop is that? So to be able to know that we together are doing these meditations in nature and then receiving the sounds that we're hearing in that moment and recording them and making music out of them, it's a very end-to-end organic experience. And I think the listener deserves to experience music that from the ground up is truly your own.